Now we are moving to bark. What are bark? Bark are simply the tissue outside the vascular cambium are called bark. Tissues which are present outside the vascular cambium. Tissues outer to vascular cambium are called bark. Okay. So, bark are the tissues which is outside or outer the vascular cambium of stem are called the bark. Of stem are called the bark. So, what are the tissues which is found outside? First one, epidermis. Epidermis which is replaced by periderm, cortex, primary phloem and secondary phloem are the tissues which is present outside the vascular cambium of stem. What are they? Periderm, cortex, primary phloem and secondary phloem. So these are the tissues that are found outer side of the vascular cambium of stem. And what are the functions of bark? What are the functions of bark? What they are doing is they protect plants or protect trees. So bark may protect the plant from parasitic fungi and insects, and also it prevent water loss. It prevent water loss by evaporation. And also it protects against variation of external temperature. So it protects against variation in external temperature. Variation in external temperature. So they protect the plant against variation in external temperature. And also the bark are insect repellent. The bark are insect repellent and decay proof, and last they are fire proof. Okay, so what are the function of bark? The functions of bark are it protect the plant, it prevent water loss, and it protect against variation in external temperature. And bark are insect repellent, decay proof and fire proof. And we can obtain some drugs and spices from bark also. We can obtain drugs and spices from the bark tissues. Okay, and the phloem cells of bark are involved in conduction of food, while secondary cortical cells involved in storage. So the phloem cells of bark involved in conduction of food, whereas the secondary cortical cells involved in storage of food. Okay. So the bark are the outer part or outer tissues of the vascular cambium. The tissues that are found outer side of the vascular cambium or vascular cambium of stem or periderm, cortex, primary phloem and secondary phloem. And the bark may protect the plants and it prevent water loss, and also it protect against variation in external temperature. And the bark are insect repellent, decay proof and fire proof. Also we can obtain some drugs and spices from the bark. And the phloem cells in the bark has the power to conduct food, whereas the secondary cortical cells are storage of food in function. There are two types of bark. Ring bark and scale bark. Ring bark and scale bark. Okay, there are two types of bark, ring bark and scale bark. Ring bark is if the phyllogen forms a completely cylinder around the stem. The phyllogen forms complete cylinder around the stem. The phyllogen forms a complete cylinder on stem. They are ring bark, whereas the scale barks are the bark is formed in overlapping scale-like layers. So it is formed by overlapping scale-like layers. Scale-like layers. So ring bark is the phyllogen forms a complete cylinder around the stem, whereas the scale bark is formed by overlapping scale-like layers. The ring bark normally do not peel, whereas scale bark is peeled off. So the ring bark may be peeled off. The ring bark usually not peeled off. Whereas the scale bark may usually peeled off. Okay. So these are about difference between ring bark and scale bark. Ring bark means the phyllogen forms a complete cylinder on the stem, whereas scale bark means it is formed by the overlapping scale-like layers. So the ring bark may usually not peeled off, whereas the scale bark may peeled off. So these are about bark. Now we are moving to lenticels. What are lenticels? Lenticels are simply pores or opening. Lenticels are simply pores or opening on the epidermis or bark of cell, bark or stem. Lenticels. Lenticels are simply opening or pore. Opening or pore is found on the epidermis or bark of stem. Bark of stem. And their function is mainly in exchange of gases and transpiration. Exchange of gas and also it helps in transpiration. Such type of transpiration is called as lenticular transpiration. So transpiration occurs through lenticels are called as lenticular transpiration. So lenticels are simply the openings or pore on the epidermis of the bark of stem and roots. Root also sometimes contains lenticels, and they are help in the exchange of gases, and also it involves in transpiration. So the transpiration occur through lenticels are called lenticular transpiration. When the phyllogen is more active in the region of lenticels, some mass of loosely arranged thin walled parenchyma cells are formed. Such parenchyma cells are called as complementary tissues or filling tissues. Complementary tissues or filling tissues. When the phyllogen in the lenticels become more active, so a mass of thin-walled parenchyma cells are formed. Such cells are called as complementary tissues or filling tissues. Okay, so these are about lenticels. So lenticels are simply opening or pore of the epidermis or bark of stem and root, and they help in the exchange of gases as well as in transpiration. So transpiration occurs through lenticels is called as lenticular transpiration, and when the phellogen become more active in the lenticel area, a thin-walled mass of parenchyma cells are formed. Those parenchyma cells are called as complementary tissues or filling tissues. So this is the structure of lenticels. Okay, this is the structure of lenticels. This is simply cuticle. This is epidermis, and this is the area, that is lenticel. And these are the complementary tissues or filling tissues. Complementary tissues, and these are phellum, and this is phellogen. These are finally phelloderm. So this is the picture showing the structure of lenticels. Okay. Now, so by lenticels, the secondary growth in dicot stem is over. So in this chapter, we are mainly dealing with the secondary growth in dicot stem versus secondary growth in dicot root. So the secondary growth in dicot stem is over. Now we are moving to secondary growth in dicot root. Secondary growth in dicot root. Okay. So secondary growth in dicot root is similar to that of secondary growth in dicot stem. When the secondary growth takes place in dicot root, it provides strength to the growing aerial part of plants. So it helps to provide strength to the growing aerial parts of the plant. And however, there is similarity in the secondary growth of dicot stem and root. There are some marked difference in the formation of vascular cambium. So some marked difference in the formation of vascular cambium. In secondary growth in stem, the vascular cambium is formed in a circular manner, whereas secondary growth in dicot root, it forms in a wavy manner. Formation of vascular cambium. Formation of vascular cambium. So the vascular cambium is secondary in origin, but if we compare the vascular cambium in dicot stem, it is partially primary in origin. That is, fascicular cambium is primary in origin, whereas the intravascular cambium is secondary in origin. But here, the vascular cambium is purely secondary in origin. Now, how the vascular cambium is originated? That is, it originates from the combination of the conjunctive tissues located just below the phloem bundles and a portion of pericycle tissues present above the protoxylem to form a complete and continuous wavy ring. So if we consider this is a vascular area, okay, these are the xylem bundles. Okay, these are the xylem bundles which is arranged radially. Okay, and the phloems are present in the conjunctive tissues. Here, the vascular cambium is formed by the conjunctive tissues, which is found just below the phloem, and so the conjunctive tissues just below the phloem. Okay, the conjunctive tissues just below the phloem and the pericycle tissues just above the protoxylem. We know that this is metaxylem and these are the protoxylem. And the pericycle tissues just found above the protoxylem are called protoxylem. Protoxylem, they combine. So the combination of the conjunctive tissues just below the phloem and the pericycle tissues just above the protoxylem, they combine to form a wavy ring. Form a wavy ring. This wavy ring formation. So, but in the secondary growth in dicot stem, the ring is round in shape, whereas here, that is the secondary growth in dicot root, it is wavy, initially wavy in nature, continuous wavy in nature, but gradually it becomes circular. So, the wavy ring later becomes circular and produce secondary xylem and secondary phloem similar to the secondary growth in stem. So, only the marked difference between the secondary growth in dicot root and secondary growth in dicot stem are the formation of vascular cambium. So, the vascular cambium is formed by the combination of the conjunctive tissues just below the phloem and the pericycle tissues just above the protoxylem. So, these tissues may combine to form a wavy ring, and this wavy ring gradually become circular in nature, and which produces the secondary xylem and secondary phloem just like secondary growth in dicot stem. So, all the other processes are similar to the secondary growth in dicot stem. So, these are about the secondary growth in dicot root. Now, we can differentiate between the secondary growth in dicot stem versus the secondary growth in dicot root, which will help you to study using comparison. So, secondary growth in dicot root versus secondary growth in dicot stem. Secondary growth in dicot root versus secondary growth in dicot stem. The cambial ring formed is wavy in the beginning and later become circular. Now we look how they are formed. So the cambium ring initially wavy, whereas in dicot stem the cambium ring is circular in nature always. Cambium ring circular in nature always. Okay. Then the cambium ring is completely secondary in origin compared to dicot stem. Dicot root, the cambium ring is completely secondary in origin, but whereas in secondary growth in dicot stem, the cambium ring is partially secondary in origin. Why? Because partially secondary in origin, because the fascicular cambium, that is the cambium present inside the vascular bundle, is primary in origin, whereas the cambium in between the vascular bundle, that is interfascicular cambium, which is secondary, and that's why the cambium ring is partially secondary in origin. Then the peridium originates from pericycle in dicot root, whereas the peridium originates from cortical cell. That is, in root the peridium originates as intrastellar origin, whereas in stem the peridium originates extrastellar. So root peridium is intrastellar in origin, whereas in stem it is extrastellar in origin. Lastly, the lenticels are not very prominent in root, whereas lenticels are prominent in stem. Lenticels are not prominent, whereas lenticels are prominent. Okay. So, in dicot root, the cambium ring is initially wavy, whereas in dicot stem, the cambium ring is always circular, whereas cambium ring is purely secondary in origin in dicot root, but the cambium ring is partially secondary in origin in dicot stem. And the peridium, which is originated intrastellar in origin, that is, it is originate from the pericycle, whereas in dicot stem it is extrastellar in origin. It is originated from the cortical cells, and the lenticels are not at all prominent in dicot root, whereas lenticels are very prominent in dicot stem. So by this our chapter 10 is over, secondary growth in dicot root and dicot stem. In this chapter we studied about the secondary growth in dicot stem. In it, the formation of vascular cambium, origin and organization, and different types of secondary xylem, that is different types of wood we studied, and we compare their differences. Then secondary phloem, the peridium formation, how the bark is formed, and some notes about the lenticels. Finally, we compare the secondary growth in dicot root and stem. So I think you all are following all the things. If you have any doubt, you can feel free to ask me. Thank you.